So I quit all my streaming services. I cancelled all my streaming services a while ago, and with the money I saved, I bought this. I bought myself a fire pit to hold myself accountable for my desire to spend more time in nature, to spend more time outdoors and away from screens. And so I figure this was a really good investment of my money. But I can never make a fire and just let it go to waste, just let the wood go to waste. So I have a couple of granola ingredients here, so I think I'll make some granola later on when the fires calm down a bit more. But yeah, had you told me 15, 20 years ago that this is what I would value most, sitting still, being in the moment, basically not doing anything and just watching the grass grow or watching the flames, I would have called you crazy. And I think that's one thing I would tell my younger self. It's that there will come a time when you realize that chasing your purpose, finding out what you want to do with your life, meaning a career, is not going to matter to you anymore. Or when you come to realize that it doesn't matter what you do for a living, it matters what you do for a life. And what I mean by that is it matters how you spend every day, with what attitude you start into your day, how you spend every hour, every minute, how much joy you find in the normal things. And you know, it's become such a buzzword, romanticize your life, you know, but that is essentially what it means. It means finding joy in the small things, in your everyday mundane life. Life doesn't have to be this big, bold, giant adventure all the time. I think truly joyful people figure out how to have adventures in their own backyard. And that's what I've come to realize, that it's really not those big giant things that make a life. It's the small things, it's the everyday things. And when I was younger, I was always this is really hot. I was very proud to always walk very, very fast. I was a fast walking girl. I have very long legs, so it's easier for me. But yeah, I was very proud that I was fast walking. I would basically, wherever I went, I was in a rush, I was in a hurry. And that was such a metaphor for my life back then. I was always chasing something, doing something. I could never just sit still and let life unfold. I was always questioning what it is that I should do with my life. What's next? What's next? What does this mean? What can I make of this? And I think it also comes from this new AI reality that we find ourselves in now, that I really had to ask myself, well, but who are you without the work? Who are you if you're not working? You are not your work. You are not the way you make money. What a ridiculous notion. I feel like from an early age, from when we're kids, like the first thing they ask us is, so what do you want to be when you grow up, you know? And by be, they don't mean happy or joyful or in love, healthy. They mean, what job do you want to do? How are you going to contribute to society? And that is so ingrained in us, in our Western civilization. And I've come to find that it's a lie. I've come to find that that is simply not where joy and happiness comes from. And here we are spending so much of our younger years especially designing our entire lives around what it is that we want to do for a living. And now with AI taking most of our jobs in the future, I don't think I'm the only one who comes to find that that was all a lie. And listen, I'm not even, funny enough, I'm an author, I write novels, and we all know that AI has become very good at writing all sorts of texts, and I'm not even worried that AI is going to steal my job. Stephen King said a similar thing. He said, I got my mojo on, or I got my mojo going, so I'm not worried about AI. And I kind of feel similar. I feel like soon the market in the arts in general will just be flooded with all types of AI, and cheap AI that, you know, has no soul basically. And so I think there will be sort of a much bigger need, a much bigger demand for artisan writers, musicians, artists. And you know, I don't even think that we need to neglect AI entirely. Frankly, I find it ridiculous that people who literally work with the written word, like authors, are asked to neglect this entirely. If anything, we need to know what's coming. So I think we're all going to use AI as tools going forward in whatever shape or form we see fit, but I think there will be a much higher demand for human-made stuff. So I am not even worried that AI is going to take my job, but it had me thinking about what's going to happen to all of us now that the cat's out of the bag, that we won't be defined anymore by our job. What's our purpose then? And that's the other thing. Do we actually need purpose? First of all, does purpose need to be defined by what we do as a job, as a career? And second of all, even if purpose is something like, my purpose is to be a loving mother, or my purpose is to help the people in my community, or my purpose is to rewild the land, even that type of purpose, is that really necessary? I read a book a while ago, it's called Original Wisdom by Robert Wolfe, I think he's called. And he interviewed indigenous peoples in South America, and when they were asked, you know, what are your lives, what do you think is your life purpose, what are your goals, what are you working towards, they had no answer because they don't believe in purpose. And I really think that purpose is sort of a Western sickness that we've been taught to really think about a lot. And I struggle to find my purpose these days. I don't have that ambition anymore, and I honestly wish I didn't have to sell you anything. And listen, I know what I enjoy doing. I love writing novels. I'm a storyteller at heart. I can't help when I watch a movie on TV to analyze the characters and get ideas and analyze the story. And when I read a book and there's a great hero in it, I store that, or when there's a great sentence, I see how I can turn it into my own. So like, I can't help but do that, and that's just how I make sense of the world and what I enjoy spending my time doing, just as much as I enjoy going hiking and being outdoors. And I love animals, so like, I know what my passions are and I know what I want to spend my life doing. But like, I just wish I didn't have to like sell that to anyone, you know. Can't I just do what I want to do? Like, that's what I keep asking myself. Could I get away with this? Can I just get away with living the life I love? And I know we all have to make a living and we all have to make money, but do we? You know, like, there once was a time when we, us human animals, didn't have to make money, and it's not natural to make money. And so I think we're all just trying to find a way to combine a life that we love with this current system that we live in, which is capitalism, which is making money, which is putting food on our table. And I don't think many people have found a satisfying answer for that. Okay, let's get that granola on the way. Must not burn my hair, must not burn my hair or my hands. That looks pretty good. So I just have some oats in here, some nuts, some quinoa. What else? I think that's it. You know, when I think about it, I just feel like we didn't sign up for this, you know. You and I, we didn't sign up for this, to spend our days behind screens, sitting all day, which is terrible for our bodies, and it's not what our bodies were made for. Answering emails and catering to other people's wishes just for a paycheck at the end of the month. This is some olive oil, by the way. And yet, I think this lie we've been told has been told for such a long time, and we have been instilled with it from such an early age that we don't even question it anymore. Except when we do, you know. Like I do right now. Carl Jung said, this is really hot. That's not what Carl Jung said. Carl Jung said, life begins at 40. I think he said something like that. Everything before that was just research. And so I'm really starting to ask myself what I want the second half of my life to mean. And it's an exciting time, and it's an exciting question to ask, you know. And I'm not one of those people that is scared of getting older. I think it's quite a privilege, and I feel like it's a privilege that's denied. So many people are denied that privilege. So I just want to get it right. I just want to get it right. Because the first half of my life, I was chasing too much, and so this might just be enough. For the second half, I just want to take it easy, live slow, live consciously, and create something that means something to other people, if I can, through my books, through my art. And I think I'm at the point in my life where I don't need to convince anyone anymore what I have to offer, or that my work is good, or that I am good. I don't know, I just feel like A, it's just not worth it, and B, as you get older, you also start to trust more that this honey is very sticky. You'd start to trust more that what's meant for you is never going to miss you. And if there's one piece of advice that I would give anyone starting out in the creative arts, or any sort of dream that they're chasing, like my younger self, I would say you will underestimate how long shit's gonna take. Everything takes longer than you think. And I don't know why the arts get kind of a special treatment here, but that is just like any other startup business. And they say that in a startup business, with any startup business, it takes 3 to 5 years until you see results and until you can live off this thing. So it's going to take an awful long time. And I think that's the hardest part about this, is there will be a lot of silence in the beginning, and you just don't know if what you're doing is any good, and you just don't know if what you're doing is going to land. at all. There are things that can only come from life experience, from developing that trust, that inner knowing, that calm, that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay, and that you do not need to chase. You just need to attract, and nothing good is ever going to miss you. And so that is the sort of calm, relaxed vibe and energy that I want to bring into my second half of life. I feel like I'm at a precipice now. I'm at this turning point in my life where it really matters going forward that I keep my calm, and that I trust in what I know, and I trust in who I am, and I trust in whatever higher power is out there, that it's all going to be okay. And I think in this day and age, the world does feel scary with AI, and is World War III around the corner, and are we all going to lose our jobs, and the climate crisis. And I think people are all looking for some reassurance. But I think the only place where we can find that is within ourselves, and in silence, not in the news, not on social media, just within ourselves and in nature. I think I'm going to keep this fire going, and it's actually a lovely evening. It has rained all week, and now it's just such a sunny, lovely, warm evening. I can see the sunset over there. I think I'm going to stay out here tonight. I might get some really good coals down there. So I think I'm going to get some potatoes out as well. Finish this granola, and then just roast some potatoes, and maybe make myself a cup of tea and spend the evening out here. Thank you for spending some time with me. See you next time.